So we are going to start off with our Solar United Neighbors Solutioneer team.
All right, guys, thanks for showing up tonight. I know this is a little bit different than how it's usually ran, but I think this is a really cool opportunity for us to flex new skills and learn some new things about how to communicate. So I'm Spencer Perillo. I'm the project lead for the Solar United Neighbors project. I'm a senior sustainability student. And what I've been doing to get through this quarantine is family game night every Friday night.
Hi everyone, my name is Leandro Bertoli-Romelli. I am a sophomore in supply chain and sustainability like many others here. And what's been getting me through quarantine is FaceTime calls with friends, like every night.
Hi everyone, my name is Joseph Weeks. I am a senior in the Bachelor's of Science and Sustainability program, also going for a certificate in energy. And what's been keeping me sane during all of this is exercising daily by doing flow arts.
Hey guys, my name's Jacob Danzer. I'm a major in computer science, and one thing that's keeping me through the quarantine is keeping busy, staying at work, working on projects, you know, anything to get something done.
My name's Ashley. I'm a junior studying marketing, minoring in sustainability. And what's getting me through this time is FaceTime my family every Sunday night for family dinner.
All right. Yeah, Josh, go ahead. Skipped a little early there.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't know. Hi, everybody. My name's Joshua. I'm a junior, sustainability major. And what's been getting me through this is a lot of self-care. So it's giving me time to focus on myself a little bit, which hasn't been too bad.
Right on. All right, so we'll jump right into this. This semester we worked with Solar United Neighbors. They are a 501c3 looking to get more solar into cities. So they set up solar co-ops, and then they work to produce non-biased information for energy policy that is going on in that area that they're set up in. They were founded in 2007 out in Washington, D.C. when the executive director, Anya Schoolman's son, and his friend had seen the documentary An Inconvenient Truth. And those two came running back to the parents, and they were screaming that they needed to do something about this problem that they learned about, and they wanted to go solar. And as Anya looked into this, she realized that there's a lot of hurdles that needed to be overcome. It was expensive. There's a lot of logistics to go through. Zoning things to work through, and it was just a difficult process to go alone. So at that point, she reached out to some of her neighbors to see if they were interested in going solar, and they were. So at the end of this kind of reach out period, they gained about 45 people to start the very first solar co-op, and from that point, it just spread. By 2009, they were in 4 states, and in 2020, they were in 12, including Arizona. And so the first project was out in the East Valley, led by Brett Van Jaw. He is the director, the program director for Solar United Neighbors, and he's been a great guy to work with. All right, so our partnership here with GreenLight and Solar United Neighbors kind of developed after the first co-op there in the East Valley. We kind of agreed to collaborate, and that kind of framed our project. We helped host an information session, and we helped market this information session. So we learned a lot about the co-op procedures and the benefits, and how hopefully they can expand their co-ops to more of the Phoenix metro area.
All right, so this slide just basically shows our clear vision and mission. So the vision was that our project team would be able to successfully educate and sign up homeowners in the Phoenix metro area for the Solar United co-op. And our mission was that we would be able to market that info session and successfully pull through and promote it. And we did that info session on the 24th of this year in March. So this just shows our objectives and key performance indicators. We had 3 different objectives. The first one was to complete our marketing initiative. We had 1 tabling event. We gave out 300 flyers. We had 15 social media posts, 100 contacts established, 50 RSVPs, and we made 4 marketing content visuals for our social media posts that we gave out. Our second objective consisted of us preparing for the information session. which was all of our team basically just getting together and making sure that we were well versed in the information so that we could successfully hold that info session. And we had 2 rehearsals for that. Third objective was to follow up with attendees, establish key follow-up questions, and provide next steps for anyone that was interested.
All right, so by now I'm sure the fair majority of you already know what SDGs are, but just in case you don't, they are Sustainable Development Goals. There's 17 of them, and they are goals that were adopted by the United Nations, and they were a call to power to protect and end prosperity, as well as improve the education, or not the education, but the way we live life and just have a better quality. So we had 4 that we really had a clear, strong connection with in comparison with Solar United Neighbors. The first one that we had was quality education. Here with Solar United Neighbors, we learned a lot as students, increasing our quality of education for one, and not only just with a partnership with the students, but being with Solar United Neighbors, they give unbiased information to the public that they deserve to have, quite frankly. And rather than going through all the loopholes of all these different companies that are trying to scam you for the best deal, Solar United Neighbors will give it to you straight. And they do a great job of actually increasing how long the education, or how good your education on the system is. The other one that we focused on was affordable and clean energy. Obviously, dealing with solar energy, it is a lot more clean version of what most of us currently use, creating less pollution in the air and a great, more economically friendly system. And being that we partnered with Solar United Neighbors and joining a group of individuals to join and switch over to solar together actually makes solar energy switch a lot cheaper. And that was really the main goal that we had going into this. And it becomes a lot more affordable and clean for the environment. Next, we had sustainable cities and communities. So here we had cities, with our project, cities adopting and implementing policies towards resource efficiency. So with Solar United Neighbors, we would actually, spreading the word causes the communities to gain more knowledge about this information, and then we're spreading awareness. And overall, our goal is to have these people switch over so that the more and more people do, the more and more economically friendly our communities are, which is just a great bridgeway into number 13, which is the Climate Action SDG, which is just an overall increase in education. We are awareness raising, and we have a capacity on climate change, which really reduces the impact that we're doing on the environmental scale.
So now we thought it would be important to talk about our process pre and post COVID-19, as it did have to switch a lot based on the way we were doing our marketing. So pre-COVID-19, our process was basically, after establishing our objectives and the SDGs that were just spoken about, the project focused heavily on how to get the word out in our community and to our target audiences about this info session. So before COVID-19, this was done through targeting community spaces in our area that we thought would be bringing in like-minded people to around that area. So this brought us places like farmers markets and this thing called First Friday in downtown Phoenix, which is an amazing festival. I'm not sure if anyone's been, but this brought us to a place like that, and there we were able to hand out flyers, talk to people, really connect with people face to face, and it really helped us get the word out about our info session. So post COVID-19, obviously we weren't able to do this anymore, so we made the transition to social media. And we found ourselves making posts, sending out emails, and talking to people through our channels and texting, things like that, and spreading the word out about our information session, which we now had switched to Zoom.
So once we switched online, this is kind of an example, or the last slide was an example of kind of the immediate marketing that we did for mobile devices, such as on Instagram. So we were posting on our personal accounts. This content is kind of an example of the content of the marketing that we did on platforms on desktops such as Facebook and LinkedIn. We did a lot of sharing it to groups within our own personal network and on events, mainly focusing on groups and events which were related to sustainability, environmentalism, or renewable energy for residential use in some kind of way. And we really felt like this this content exemplified the culmination of our vision, mission, and key steps while we were working with Solar United Neighbors, as we had to actually create some of this content for the online marketing, as they mainly had focused on in-person marketing. So when we went to go market online after the transition, we found that a lot of their that they didn't have as much content for online use. However, within the time with our involvement with Sun, 5 people with Solar United Neighbors, 5 people had joined the cohort. So these online marketing efforts were a success. And this is the general process of the business as a whole at Solar United Neighbors. Throughout the time we were helping them to develop to be more sustainable and reach more communities, we mainly focused on the first and second portions of this process. And again, this is just an example of some of the mobile marketing content that we had created for this.
So we learned a lot during our time with Solar United Neighbors. We learned about their process. It's a nonprofit, really grassroots movement that tries to provide unbiased information to people making decisions to go solar. And we also learned about residential solar itself, you know, about the installation, a little bit about the science behind it, and we're all kind of pretty basically versed in solar power. But probably more importantly was our way to adapt. And as sustainability students, one thing that we learn a lot really in all our classes is resilience. And to build a more sustainable future, we need that resilience and our ability to adapt to COVID. And as if you heard people before me present, the way we had to transition online, we were able to do it, and we did it well with Brett's help. Through that, we did find that there are more potential opportunities to reach people online. So that being said, that is one recommendation that we can make to Sun, that there is a lot of people yet to be reached out online. And you can find them on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. More importantly, you can find them at their website at solarunitedneighbors.org/Arizona. And you can do a lot of things there. You can donate, you can find out about the next co-ops, you can volunteer, you can actually learn about solar if you're interested. Like we said, there's a lot of unbiased information there. We don't have dates yet for the next because of COVID, but it will be up soon. So there will be more co-ops coming up in the Phoenix area pretty soon. Just check in with solarunitedneighbors.org. Thank you.
Awesome job, you guys. Well done. So now we're gonna do a quick 10-minute Q&A session. So the first question we have here is, what kind of marketing seemed to be the most effective to get people interested?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take that first one. So I think the most effective marketing that we had was either done through some of our channels through like LinkedIn with GreenLight or Solar United Neighbors, or Instagram. Those kind of got the most engagement, and they got the word out pretty well.
Cool. So the next question is, what were some of the major objections or issues that people had with going solar on their home?
I'll take this one. So from what I found, most people who we interacted with either in person or online were kind of skeptical about their ability to convince their neighbors to want to join together to get cheaper prices on solar. Many of them just didn't think that they could properly convince their neighbors to do something like that with them. However,
sorry, go ahead.
However, we were able to convince some to talk to their neighbors, and after they talked to their neighbors, they seemed to be a bit more on board with it.
I was just going to add that people definitely have like a preconceived notion that solar is just ridiculously expensive and it's unattainable and like you can't have it unless so and so and so. But I mean, that's basically what Solar United does. It breaks down a lot of those misconceptions about solar. Like what they're doing is making it more attainable and making it more affordable for people. So like, once that's explained to people, I think it's they'll be more aware that it's actually possible for people to do.
Cool.
Right.
The next question is, what was your guys' most successful post, and did you guys try to do different design styles with your posts?
Ashley, go ahead and take these. She was the design artist on most of these, and she did a great job. So,
Could you repeat that question, Kyle?
Yeah, no problem. So the question was, what was your most successful post, and did you try any different styles?
We had a few different designs that we were using, and they were basically all adapted for the platform that they were used on. So, I mean, like Spencer had mentioned, like Instagram was definitely like a good way to like get attention and
she might have cut off there, but yeah, Instagram and LinkedIn were some of the more successful posts that we made.
but
So we'll move on to the next question. So a big question is that does Solar United Neighbors do anything to work around the high utility fees?
So not directly. So as we mentioned, they are a non-biased source of information for policies regarding energy in the areas that they work in. So in effect, they do by teaching people what politicians and what policies are laid out by who. And so they kind of, and that shapes the utility fee kind of landscape. So in effect, by giving people better education about what's being presented to them, they do, but not directly, because they do have to remain unbiased and, yeah, unbiased, so they can maintain some of the statuses that they hold with their nonprofit.
Sweet. The next
Hey,
question
this is Brett with Solar United Neighbors. I just wanted to jump in there because we do advocacy work at the Corporation Commission and at Salt River Project. So we don't get involved with elections, but we definitely do take positions on policy, which includes net metering policy and utility rate policy. And just while I have the floor, I really want to say thanks to this whole group. This was an awesome project, and I'm really looking forward to working with you guys in the future. So thanks again.
Thank you so much for not only joining us, Brett, but for letting us create that connection with you guys.
Cool. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, Brett. Next question is, did you experience any difficulty explaining export rate versus net metering to AZ ratepayers?
I could go ahead and answer that question.
Go ahead.
So it was kind of difficult to teach that to some of the people who were interested, just because net metering is a strange concept to some people, like putting energy that you've already generated back into the grid and selling it back to the utilities. However, after breaking it down for people, we were able to describe it quite well. Usually using kind of like visuals that were on some of the marketing material from Solar United Neighbors helped a lot.
So the next question is, did you find the general feedback from people to be positive when introducing people to the idea of solar co-ops?
Yeah, I'll take this one. Yeah, we did. I think there's, with anything, there's misconceptions. And with solar, that's certainly the case. I mean, or not misconceptions, so to speak, but there's ideas that are placed into people's head. And so one of those things, like we talked about, are the barriers to entry. And so what the co-op process does is really help people take these barriers away and kind of get together with a community of people. So I think when we talked about it in that framing, they were really receptive to it.
Sweet. The next question is, what is the most valuable thing you learned through the pandemic process with your project?
Well, one of the most valuable things that I personally have learned is with the whole pandemic, there's a lot of change, and it could have been very easy to just say, oh, well, there's not much we can do. We're stuck inside. We can't leave. There's no way to promote this. But when you're with a group of dedicated people and that you all share a really the same vision and you're all really actually dedicated to doing the work, that there's always a way to do it. And there's you just need to learn to be adaptable and change with the change, because if you, then there's no way to survive in anywhere.
Cool. So I'm going to kind of combine the next two questions because they're kind of similar. So the first part of the question is, how did working with Sun change your perspective on solar, and what did you learn from working with them? And the follow-up to that is this something that you'd use in your own life, in your own home?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I'll take this one. Working with Sun really showed me that this is still an uphill battle. I mean, somebody mentioned net metering earlier in one of the questions, and learning about that and learning about the policies and the different powers at play, trying to kind of flex their muscle on what should be accepted and what shouldn't. And so solar is still very much a grassroots movement, and doing it through a co-op just seems almost like the right way to do it. Like getting with your neighbors, going door to door, saying, hey, join me, let's team up, let's take them down, let's kind of put it into our own hands. And so that's the thing I learned the most from Sun. And what was the other question, Kyle?
Yeah, I kind of combined the two questions. So the last part is this something you'd use in your own life or on your own home?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Especially doing it through a co-op, you do save money, and it's not as expensive or as difficult as people like to think.
Awesome. So we probably have time for one more question. So the question is there a formula to calculate my potential savings as a homeowner from switching to solar?
I'm going to go ahead and call on the audience. Brett, if you want to come back in and help this one out, this one's a little bit above me. I think there definitely is a way to calculate that, but I don't believe we would be the best people to ask that.
Yeah, I think, thanks. The short answer is it depends, and it's very individualized because it depends on how much energy you're using, when you're using it, which utility that you have. And one of the things that we provide as an independent nonprofit, because we're not trying to sell you solar, is we can help to look at some of that stuff for you. So I'll put my information in here, and feel free to reach out, and would be happy to chat.
Yeah, we'll also be releasing a little agenda at the when we release this recording on our social media. We'll release a little agenda that goes with it, and we'll put all of Brett's information in there, all of our project partners' information. So if anyone is interested in connecting with any of our projects or project partners or Solutioneers or anyone a little bit more, please feel free to utilize that, because everyone's here to really network and connect and get to know each other.